Hello everybody, good afternoon, welcome back to the United Stand. It's Adam Talks time and we have got loads to get into. The 13-man hit list, who makes the cut in Ten Hag's pre-season squad that's coming up. Will we have new ownership in to add to that squad? We're going to touch on that. Well, actually, we're going to start with that. We are going to, and the thumbnail was all about the hit list and what's gone and what's actually coming up this summer in terms of who is leaving Manchester United or who could possibly out the door. But there is breaking news as well. Well, not so much breaking news, but big updates on the ownership of Manchester United and what's coming up over these next couple of weeks and what's expected to come up. I'm going to read through all of them. First of all, as you know, we always have a guest on with me on these shows. And straight from the fan vlogs at weekend, we've got AA, bright, vibrant, Brazil, Casemiro-esque. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm only back because Beth thinks I look like David Raya and she's really desperate for David Raya to be at United. So
there you go.
This is why I'm here.
There's a reason behind everything. That's it. Beth is promoting David Raya on the United Stand, as we know. Only joking. She does love David De Gea as well. But yeah, there is, well, we could talk about that, but it's way down the pecking order of priorities right now in terms of what's going on at Manchester United. AA, I mean, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to read a few of the quotes that have just come out from Ben Jacobs from CBS, actually. It's regarding the Manchester United ownership and where we're at. It's been quiet. Mark was covering it this morning. He talked about Keegan's article from the Daily Mail this morning, and I was going to talk about that myself, but we might as well just go straight into this here now. And everybody, get your thoughts in the comments section on everything we talk about. This is an interactive show as well, so get your comments in on all the topics. But AA, I'll read out the first one here. It says, and it's top of the United Stand Twitter feed. If you want any more details on this, everybody, just flick across there to the United Stand Twitter. There will be a third round of bidding in the MUFC sale process. Groups who have made it through, which includes Jim Radcliffe and Sheikh Dajim, have until the end of the month to submit new offers. Sources close to Manchester United's sale process says the club will accept a third round of bids for potential buyers due at the end of this month. Straight off the bat, AA, what does that shout out to you?
Shouts out that the Glazers, as always, are trying the best to squeeze even more out of Manchester United. Like, they've not done enough as it is. You know, was it the back end of last year? The news was coming out about the sale. We're now getting deep into April, and it's still nothing. You know, we're still bidding. We're still finding more and more excuses for them to stick around and try and squeeze more juice out of what's already a well that's run very dry, as we can see behind us. You know, see Old Trafford, what it looks like, the playing squad. We're talking about, we don't know how much we're going to have to spend. This is all, again, just a knock-on effect of the greed that the Glazers have and the stranglehold they have on the club. And I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a 4th, 5th round, to be fair, mate, because they're just knocking our season back further and further. We don't know when they're going to go, if they're going to go. And again, you know, there's even rumours it's still all a bluff for them to get the investment for them to stick around even longer. So I'm not surprised there's a 3rd round. I think the fact, after we saw the whole furore about Sir Jim and the Qatari bid not going in at the correct time and them hanging on, and another week it was before their bids were announced to go through, the fact we've heard nothing at all since then to now is not overly surprising to me, because again, it's, you know, the Glazers sitting and waiting and taking a step back, assessing everything. They know they've not got what they want and what they think United's worth, so they've waited to say, you go again, and you've got to bid more until they get the price, which is, I believe, over $6 billion is what they're asking for. It just screams greed to me, mate. That's what it is.
That's it. I can see in the comment section already, it's just set that tone. A 3rd round of bidding, FFS, we all know what that means. It's like, I hope the Glazers get what's coming to them. It's sad. It's just, it's one of them, mate, isn't it, where it's like, we want to be ready. And Mark's video this morning, if you haven't watched Mark's video earlier when he goes on to, he was making a point of like, we're going to wait. I think he said the word wait, about 50 times in his first 10 minutes of the video. Basically, the Glazers don't give a toss, don't give a flying rat's whatever about the United fans, anyone who's involved, bidders, how much money's coming in, how much money they've got, until they're happy to go. No time limit on it. It's Glazers in charge, like it always has been, the final say. And you said it then, mate. It is just grabbing as much money as they possibly can out of Manchester United before they go, because I don't think they can possibly stay. I just feel like they don't care how much disruption they're going to cause before they do go. It's all about the Benjamins, as they say. That's pretty much it. And they don't they don't care where it's come from, how it's generated, as long as it's in their bank account.
Yeah.
Our season, our pre-season, Ten Hag, the players' contracts, everyone who's waiting around, the businessmen, the people who've got shares in Manchester United now, people in the hierarchy, like Mark said this morning, board members, staff, coaches, don't know where they're coming and going. This could be a whole new structure of a football club, and they can't make plans. We could be going into pre-season with one backroom staff and start the season with a completely different one. They don't know what's happening, and the disruption that they're causing, it's only gonna hamper us moving forward and not help what is important. And Ten Hag and this moving forward on the pitch.
Absolutely, mate. And we've seen for the last almost 18 years now that the Glazers care very little about Manchester United as a whole. The fans especially, they don't care for us at all. And, you know, I say the reason why this is probably happening is because of the season that we're having, for the fact that Ten Hag has come in and has been a success. They plan to sell back end of last year. For instance, if we were out the Europa League, we hadn't won the Carabao and out the
Making it be done.
FA Cup, it'd be done by now, because they feel we could get more out of them because we're being successful, because they're performing on the pitch, and United stocks are the highest they've probably been in 10 years, or, you know, since Fergie left. So they believe if we hang on and fight tooth and nail, hang on as tightly as we can and see where this team ends up with Ten Hag in charge, we can probably get a little bit more out of them. But like you say, it's the knock-on effect it's going to have on our next season, and not even the end of this season, because we are where we are. We're in that rhythm now. We can get to the end of the season, hopefully, with a couple more trophies and top four in the bag. But Ten Hag will have been starting planning the summer in January. Now, he probably has his list of players he can go for. He doesn't know who he's going to be answering to, who he's going to be asking for this money, if he'll have enough money for his top targets.
If the people that are there in place now are going to be the ones that the new ownership wants in place. I mean, we're talking Murto, Arnold here. I mean, there's been many United fan opinion on them and the job that they've done, but even them, they have to answer to someone, a new ownership model. You just don't know how much is going to change at the football club, and the uncertainty is not what we need right now in this stage of the season where we have turned the corner. Everything affects what goes on the pitch. I think on the pitch, and you said it there, I think everything, when it's going well on the pitch, masks everything off it. Yeah, it does. No one talks about off the pitch antics or what's going on if the results are going right. It's quite clear. We've seen that. I mean, prime examples of that lot just down the road there, full of corruptness, but when the trophies are coming in, no one cares about anything.
Turn the blind eye.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. But allegedly, obviously, yes, I'm told. Don't try and take my Mancunian bias away from me, Mr. Producer Man. I'm not. Paul William with a gifted Manchester United Stand membership. Do jump onto that. Legend of the show already. Thank you, Paul. Anyone else who does want to become a member themselves, just go onto the main page, click that join button next to the subscribe button and get your special content just for you. Anyway, moving forward in terms of what is actually happening and what content we're going to be bringing there on United Stand, it's the unknown, mate. I think with this news regarding the ownership now, the uncertainty that it brings, it automatically brings you to topics like, well, can we bring certain players in? Yeah. Can we get the certain players out? Because if you're a player that's probably looking like he's wanting out of the football club right now, you're going, hang on a minute, I might just hold my horses, and this could cause more friction. You're talking about these players that are on loan right now, AA, and their agents and what they're thinking. It could have a ripple effect down that far, because if there's uncertainty at the club, a new owner comes in, new staff, new regime, they may think again, well, I might hang around and see what happens here.
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah. Like you say, you go into that unknown and you're hoping a new owner that comes in is going to propel Manchester United even further than what we're doing under Ten Hag at this moment. Like I've long said, he's acted like a magician this year, because a lot of the squad, you look at the majority of the squad last year, we're all in the worst ever Premier League squad under Manchester United, and what he's done to turn us into, for a short time, title contenders, I would say, and also in free
keep saying it.
In free cup competitions as well. What he's done, he's performed magic, and who knows what he can do with the right people behind him and above him. And the playing squad, like you say, when there's something good going on, you want to stick around. You know, the major one we'll probably talk about is Harry Maguire. No one thinks he'll go, because he even comes out now and he's saying, I'm the captain, I want to do this, I want to lift more trophies. Because he knows he's in the best place he'll ever be now to win trophies. He's got his first in his career. Why would he want to move? And he's on a large wage as well. He has no reason to go. He's on these players that are on long contracts who think I can stick around and win have no reason to be pushed out the door.
Well, that's it. We might as well go into that right now. Once, I mean, there's people in the comment section already talking about the main title in terms of Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka. Actually, you did talk about Maguire there. We'll get into Maguire in a minute, but Wan-Bissaka seems to be the hot topic in the comment section right now. A lot of people saying we cannot afford to sell Wan-Bissaka. I mean, the situation we're in right now with the ownership and not knowing what's going to happen, I'm not getting rid of Wan-Bissaka. I think we need that. I think we've got good cover at right back right now. And we talked about, for instance, David Raya, like you were joking at the start of the show, and David De Gea, possible goalkeeper changes. far down the pecking order of priorities right now at the football club. Right back, I'd be leaving that well alone right now. I'm just saying, look, maybe we look at Dalot contract situation. That might be where possibly this is being forced from, because we've left all of these players till the last year of the contracts that no matter what we look at and how we look at it, or how the club look at it and want to sort things out, maybe stay safe, like I just said, keeping 2 right backs that are at the club, we can't. Because one is going to be out of contract. And the deal has to be made. Is that forcing this conversation right now, do you think?
I think so. And I think the funny thing about this season is we've seen so many players improve under this manager, players that we thought were destined for the door. You know, Wan-Bissaka, I think the turnaround he's had from January to now,
scary.
People are talking about he should be starting ahead of Dalot, and I agree with that. I think he's playing a lot better. The partnership he seems to be forming with Anthony is really impressive for me. They both help each other out, and he's marauding into midfield. We've never seen Wan-Bissaka marauding into midfield, and I think, you know, who would you rather keep? I think at the moment it's probably a bit of 50-50, and Dalot for me is kind of living off the first half of the season. He needs to do a lot more now to earn his contracts. You know, he's up for renewal anytime now. And it's whether Ten Hag, who he fancies. You know, we're linked with Frimpong, so that would suggest one of the two is likely to go. If I had to ask me which one I'd keep at the moment, I would have to go Wan-Bissaka, I think. I think he's doing more for the team.
That's it. We like to listen to our comment section on this show. Obviously, I'm just relaying a message. Is the sound a little bit low? Just let us know, guys. I will get my tech guy to sort that out for me. Well, only joking, but if there is any issues, do let us know, guys. We will sort it out as best we can. In terms of Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, and I get into the comment section right now on this, we've got quite a few straight away. It's dividing opinion. We need, we've actually got a poll up right now, so it's just stole my thunder a little bit. Wan-Bissaka or Diogo Dalot, or keep both. They are your options. That would be very interesting to see where that poll goes right now, but I'm just going to get into some of the comments as well. We need to sell Dalot, otherwise we are not a serious club. Oh, that is strong, considering how well Dalot has actually been playing. Dalot has never been good enough, has he not? I don't think.
I think he had a purple patch. You know, you look at the start of the season,
didn't he? Yeah.
He's brilliant, and you know, he kept Cancelo out of the Portugal team in the World Cup. You know, he took that form into the World Cup. I think he's had a tail off this back end of the season, but you know, a lot of football, not every player is going to play 100%, 10 out of 10 every single week. He needs to find that last bit of form at the back end of the season now, because these games, like we've seen all season, coming thick and fast. He's going to be needed. We're going to have to swap out. But he just, you know, if he's got it about him and he wants to stay and he wants to play for Manchester United, which it looks like he does. You know, he talks well about the club and himself. He looks ambitious. It's on him to do it. But Wan-Bissaka is definitely pushing him. We talk about the left side and the full-backs there pushing each other. I think it's a bigger fight now because we know who the number one left-back is. I don't think you could tell me who the number one right-back is right now.
Some people would argue the left-back situation right now.
I would.
Well, it's another conversation. It's another one, but we may have time. You never know. There's too many positions at United to get through, especially when this summer's involved.
Yeah.
A few more comments coming up. Stephen Murray says, Wan-Bissaka should stay and he's doing better up the field. Definitely agree with that. The right-back spot is up for grabs. Let them fight it out. That's from Doobie there, one of our mods. Sell Dalot. Let's get through a few more. What about Telles? I mean, seriously. They could possibly talk about that. I mean, I think Tellers is done at the football club. I don't think it's even conversation. Frimpong to replace Dalot, then Wan-Bissaka wouldn't get a start. We should keep both right backs. It's just an area I don't think we need to be concerned about. I think Dalot and Wan-Bissaka are progressing and at an age where they can probably progress even more. I'm not massively concerned. Now I'm going to throw this to you. You said that link up between Wan-Bissaka and Anthony. Yeah. We haven't been able to see Ten Hag ball yet. And Ten Hag ball at Ajax was marauding full-backs because you had wingers that also trap back. We know Anthony, at times Anthony I think has been a better defender than a forward this season. His work rate that not many people praise him for is second to none and has been pivotal in our defensive actions. And when Wan-Bissaka has gone forward, or if it's Dalot, he has been there to cover. Yeah. Do you feel that's why he's looking at a player like Frimpong, who scored a lot of goals this season, contributed a lot, but mainly from right wing. That wing back, that full back that's going to bomb forward. Do you think that's why he's looking at the full backs now, because he hasn't got that? Yeah. Are Dalot and Wan-Bissaka good enough to play that role? That's what I think he's asking.
I think we've seen the improvement in them, and can they do a lot more? Yes. Like you said, they're still both in that area where they can be developmental and you can still get a lot more out of them. They're not in the prime yet. We don't know. We can see more. What I agree with you though. We need them fullbacks. One thing that's missing from Manchester United fullbacks and even the wingers, first-time cross. I can't remember the last time I saw a first-time cross. They have to take a touch, look, and then they look to cross the ball. I want a first-time cross every time. My seats at Old Trafford are right near the corner flag, near the Stretford end. I just want to see some first-time crosses going in. And I think when you get those attacking fullbacks who can also do the defensive part just as well, they're gonna try and get the ball into the box for the strikers and attacking players. That's probably why he's looking at it. You look at Luke Shaw and Malacia. Malacia is another one who needs to improve on that quite a bit, but Luke Shaw will do it. That right side, we've had a problem with full-backs on that side, especially, we were so desperate for the right winger, but then the problem was, will the full-backs ever help a right winger? I think we've seen that now. I think Anthony's developing that partnership with Wan-Bissaka, like I say, but the forward part of the full-backs game for me is seriously lacking, and it doesn't surprise me that we're getting linked with right-backs who can do that job.
Some would say they've been told maybe not to cross because we haven't got that fox-in-the-box striker that we're actually are targeting this summer. There's plots and subplots all over United's system right now, and you could dissect it in so many different ways as to why we're doing one thing and why we're not doing another. I think that's one of them. Yeah. I still don't believe he's managed to find, and this is crazy to think with how much we've improved this season, I don't think he's settled. I don't think he knows his best team yet. No. I think there's certain players that pick themselves, but there are combinations this season that have worked really well when you didn't expect them to. And whereas I think City, I think if they're going into it, say for instance tonight, City's team picks itself against Bayern Munich. Yeah. I think Arsenal, they've been lucky enough to have very few injuries, barring Jesus, Partey mainly at times, Zinchenko early doors. I think they've been able to play a settled team. Ten Hag has said it himself. He's had one game this season when he's had a full squad to pick from. That was a Manchester derby at home. Yeah. A lot of people would say that was one of our best performances as a team in that game. Yeah. That inconsistency hasn't, I don't think, helped a lot of the players in terms of them getting better this season and working up them relationships in midfield, attack, defence, all over the place. Yeah,
I think the only one we've seen, the only partnership we've seen form is obviously centre-backs, because after the first 2 games, he needed to find a solution to those 2 games. But you're right, so much upheaval, so many players missing for long periods of time. You can never get that settled team. And what you really want is 9 to 10 positions that are settled with one rotating every now and again that can come in. And so that rhythm is still always there for that team. And I think, the midfield, who would have thought at the start of the season that Bruno Fernandes would be playing a 6 and playing it magnificently for 2 games back to back? You wouldn't expect that.
Matches,
and that's Ten Hag finding ways to get the best out of this team.
He did say that, didn't he? When you lose a certain player, you have to look within your squad and find a way. Yeah.
You wouldn't have thought that was Bruno.
For Sporting, Bruno played 8 all the time. I think Bruno's energy cries out number 8, exactly. And he just seems to be so much more productive. His passing has gone to another level. We've seen his heat maps, and he's shown his worth in the last 2 games. Will he stay in that position when a certain Mr. Casemiro comes back into the team? We will see. Super chat in from Darren Mulaney. I would like to see us buy players that are not well known and make them great players. a United way that used to be. Finding these players, maybe the new structure above in time will bring us that. But right now, I think Ten Hag has pinpointed certain areas of the pitch and gone and got best in class that he could. Like Casemiro, definitely. Martinez, 100%. Slow Sports News in with another super chat. The concern is not right back or left back. It's a striker and a defensive midfielder. 9% of the goals come from midfield and the feed striker to finish. We got Weghorst. I finished that one off with a bang there, didn't you? But yeah, I mean, that inconsistency in midfield has cost us. Before we get into that, we're going to get into midfield a little bit. But let's carry on with the defenders. I think I'm going to bring a poll up now because there is this 13-man so-called hit list. Who's going to make the cut? It's like going for a pre-season at NFL. Who's going to make the cut? Different stages of the cut. Are you going to make the first team? I mean, there's plenty of players. I think we'll make a poll up for defenders right now. By the way, the majority of the votes said keep both, 44% Wan-Bissaka and Diogo Dalot. The lowest, Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, by the way, both got 27% each. Wow. That shows you how difficult that is to split.
They've both played well. It makes sense, you know, and it, like everyone's saying, it's not an important position to go and fill and go and get a new player in. We have different issues further up the pitch, so I agree with that. I'd happy keep them both and see where we are in a year's time. You know, Frimpong's still very young, so if he's the player that he wants, another year, if he can wait, is not an issue for me. This
is going to show you now exactly, and there's going to be names on this little poll now. So I'm going to bring four players into a poll now, and obviously we can only do that because that's all that YouTube allow us to. And this is going to show the problem that Ten Hag, not even Ten Hag, but the hierarchy at United, the powers that be, in terms of getting some players out of this squad. So I'm going to put in this little poll, and I want you guys to vote on the most important, like first one who has to be going out the door. Where do we actually get cutthroat? Who is the one that's been there too long and needs to go? So we're going to say, for instance, in terms of output, Brandon Williams. We're going to bring Alex Telles in there. We're only going to bring Harry Maguire in there because he's been talked about and reported by the MEN. And I think the other one, we're going to have to realistically bring in Wan-Bissaka and Diogo Dalot into that. No, actually, because I can't. That would be fine. Let's go Eric Bailly. We've talked about Bissaka and Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, and there we discussed that on our own. But that's a side, little subplot to another four. Eric Bailly, Harry Maguire, Brandon Williams, Alex Telles. Which of them four is a priority that goes? Now, it's going to be interesting to see where people go with this, because some people will look at it and go, oh, I don't like Maguire. Don't like him at all. I don't think he shouldn't be captain, he shouldn't be whatever. But realistic, when you break it down, there is bigger matters at hand here. There's two players there that have contributed jack to this team this season. Three players, sorry. All three of them haven't kicked a ball. And we're talking about one. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes, but I'm going to go with who I think. Oh, my God, the chat. You are brutal.
Let me guess.
You're brutal. God. Right. Okay, super chat in quickly. I'm going to get your thoughts on this now, mate. Let's quickly do this super chat from Ray. Says, do you think we would get around 100 million for McTominay, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire? Love your show. Cheers, Ray. Thanks very much, mate. I'll put that to you. Is there 100 million in Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and McTominay?
I think maybe just under. I think
we've got that, mate. What do you reckon the prices are for them three on the market now?
I would say Wan-Bissaka and McTominay top end, you're looking at 30 million. I would say.
I've seen Newcastle channel reporting price tag set on McTominay at 50 million.
No, I mean, if they're going off the first half at Everton, absolutely, yeah, of course.
Or Scotland.
Scotland, yeah.
He's in good form, Scott McTominay, right now. You cannot deny it. The man is playing well.
You say he's in form, but when you have players that are average or below, when they go a little bit above average.
So you're saying the expectation levels?
It's on the floor, isn't it? Come on, let's not joke. Let's not joke about. So when you have a player who's above average, it's reported as excellent, but he's done what you'd expect him to do. That I said to you on Saturday, I was really impressed with him first half on Saturday because I thought he was actually brilliant, and he did what a midfielder was supposed to do. But unfortunately, that's the exception to the rule because it's not what we're used to. If he could do that for 10 games straight, us as United fans do not lose because we have a midfielder that can do that consistently, and that's what we all want for the players that play for us. So if he's in that form, I mean, I would say 30 million. Between 30 and 40, I'd be kind. Maguire, because he plays for England and to him he's the best defender in the world, I still think between 40 million top And then I would say, yeah, maybe 30 for Wan-Bissaka as well. So
It's crazy. I mean, creeping up to 1,000 votes on this poll. I'm going to ask you now, where do you think this order is at? So the players we've got, obviously, Eric Bailly, Brandon Williams, Alex Tellers, Harry Maguire. Where do you think the United stand audience is going? Priority of have to go this summer?
Does he wear an armband on occasion?
Yeah. You wouldn't believe the number, mate. Harry Maguire, of all four, is taking 64% of the vote.
Again, but that's a gender in it. That's because people don't like Harry Maguire. But if you look at the four you've given us, I think of the four that probably need to go more, I think it'd probably be Brandon Williams. Because I think the age he is, you need to be really testing yourself. You can't sit around and do nothing. Tellez and Bailly have both played, and they will have interest in them anyway. I think when they come back, clubs will want them. Why has no one reached out for Brandon Williams?
You feel like that's a combination of for his career right now and then the club
and the club together as well. Oh, of course, yeah. You know, I don't think we'll have an issue getting rid of Bailly and Tellez because the interest will be there. We may struggle to get some interest in Brandon Williams because no one came in January, you believe. And obviously, I think, was it the Norwich move broke down or a move broke down in the summer? So for me, I think he's a priority to go because I think he'd be used least anyway of the four, so that's probably the one I would go for.
Yeah, well, Brandon Williams is third on the list, so Maguire leading with Tellez behind, behind. Then Brandon Williams, then Eric Bailly. I thought a lot of people would be going on Eric Bailly.
No, Bailly's a cult hero, isn't he? But the thing is,
he's still clinging off that performance when he just absolutely battered Jamie Vardy in the Charity Shield.
There's that, but then in the summer in pre-season, he was the best midfielder we had, and he was playing centre back. He was making marauding runs. He was assisting. I genuinely thought he was going to stay and play DM, to be fair, but I think he's loved.
The destroyer in the middle.
Oh, he would be great, but he's another one that does unfortunately have to move on.
Imagine buying Casemiro.
He's getting nowhere, are you? Yeah. It's like the Vidic and Rio of the midfield.
Right? Average Joe with a super cheers for that, mate. Anyone figure out why Scott McTominay is still here? Harsh again. He's so harsh. Bailly is world class, says Dylan. Tellez, Bailly, Williams, Maguire out. It's just getting rid of them all. Sachin says there. Tellez plus 20 million. 20 million plus for Tellez? Nah. I wouldn't go that far.
We didn't even get him for 20 million, did we?
Eric Bailly, this is from Lynn, says Eric Bailly won't bring in much now. His career has really bombed. I mean, there was a clause in Bailly's contract. If he played a certain amount of games, there was an obligation.
Yeah, it's a buy.
But he hasn't gone past that for Marseille, so kind of shows where he's at. And like what Lim said there, it's going to look... It looks like a difficult job getting any money for Eric Bailly. It might be one of them just released.
United don't seem to do that. Again, it depends on the ownership. Have you ever known the Glazers release a player by mutual consent?
It's very true.
Ronaldo, but that was because of the interview. United don't want to lose that money because their assets, aren't they? Their assets written down. So they're not going to write off 10, 15 million for a player because it's just not in their wheelhouse to do. Again, if it's a different owner comes in, wants a clean house of the dead wood, which we've been crying for years, it could happen. But I still think Bailly may get... Again, we may be stuck in the unfortunate position of having to loan out 4 or 5 players with obligations or options because for some reason United are terrible at loans and players very rarely perform when they go out on loan. There's exceptions, obviously, you think of Ahmad and Hannibal this season, but the record shows it is normally quite poor. So hopefully we can get rid of this deadwood. But of the 4 there, I think it is Brandon Williams for me.
Yeah. I live in South Park. Great name. Based on thumbnail, are you saying you want Wan-Bissaka out? If yes, you are wild. No, we're not saying we want Wan-Bissaka out. We want to open it up as it's an interactive show to you guys, the subscribers, and comment section right now. Get your opinions in. Can't wait for next season, says MF Electrical. Well, I can't wait for next season. I'm intrigued about what happens in the summer more than anything right now.
Yeah.
I really am. Maguire legit tackled his own player in the 6-1 Tottenham game. I'll never forgive him for that. I remember the scene. I do. Yeah. That was like one of them forever memes, wasn't it? That you just knew that was going to get a TikTok hit straight away when he did that. And TikTok wasn't even that massive then, I don't think.
Maguire, I think Maguire's been more successful at being a meme than he has been a footballer in some instances. Well, you think about the one at the World Cup when he's on the barrier talking to his partner. He's a meme. He's a constant meme, and United have been a meme long enough. We don't need the players.
Are we giving Maguire credit for his performances when he's played this season? Because he said in another interview the other day, I'm not going to go into it because he doesn't want to jinx it, but he himself hasn't lost a game since about the third game of the season.
He's played what? He's probably started about 4 games. Maybe?
I think he's played about a dozen. Surprisingly, how many games he's actually played. Ten Hag made a point of this as well in terms of, can he turn around his form though? If he's acceptance of his role right now at Manchester United, is this the first time that he's had to accept where he is as a player under Ten Hag? And has it taken him this long to realise and come back? Is there a spot at him for Manchester United under Ten Hag if he accepts where he is now? Because he seems to be happy. He's talking like he's happy.
Yeah, do you know what it reminds me of? We speak about memes. You ever seen the meme of, it's like a picture of someone's face and they've got a happy mask on, but behind it they're crying? You ever seen that?
I've seen that.
That's Harry Maguire right now talking. Oh yeah, he's talking the game. He believes he should be starting Manchester United games because he's the captain in his eyes, and the captain's the most important player. Although we know. Do
you think that would change if the captaincy was taken off him? Would you think that would hit home?
I think he may start to realise that, yeah, maybe I'm not as important to this club as I think I am, or as I was under previous managers. Again, I think he had an average game. He was an average player doing maybe a little bit above average. There was moments in the game that could have cost us, the potential penalty and stuff on Saturday. As good as he can be and play well and do certain things well, at the end of the day, he's still a hindrance to our way of playing. He constantly has to have the right back near him because of his lack of pace. He turns unbelievably slow. He's no pace at all, and he's not the level that we need. We've had our eyes open this year with Varane and Martinez, and we've seen what it's like on the other side. Similar to having a world-class midfielder again that we've been lacking for years. Okay. We can see the other side of the coin now, and there's no turning back once you've been there. And I think no matter how well he plays in a certain game, we know from experience he can't consistently do it, and that's the problem. And we need to move on from him. Personally, for me, I would like him to move on, but I just don't think he will.
Super chat's on fire today. Cheers for this, guys. All making good points. Going to bring this one to you now. Caleb Baker says Maguire is so high because he's likely to get us. The biggest return on moving him along would also allow Erik ten Hag to name his own captain. I mean, I think I already know who the captain will be. I think it's said itself. It's been proven this season in terms of Bruno Fernandes. That would be my captain, just to the way the man plays. Mm-hmm. I understand the pros of someone like Maguire, who possibly we don't know his likes in the changing room. He could have benefits that Bruno Fernandes doesn't have. I'm like I said, obviously, when I'm arguing against Bruno, I love Bruno Fernandes and his the way he plays. Everyone knows it. I'm sometimes slightly biased towards him. I'll admit that, but I just like his work rate. I like how he never says die, and he's that player. He is that player when you was at school or coming up, and you sort of went into the changing room. Who are we playing this week? Oh God, don't like these. And then this guy walked in the changing room. I'm playing today. It's like, I feel better.
Yeah.
I just feel like this guy, Bruno Fernandes, he's just going to do anything to win us a game. And all we do is English is like, oh, it's a fair play. We've been done over again. It's this. I want someone to cheat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want someone to cheat. I want someone to actually just win a game by any means and get us over the line. That's what this country's lacked and why we will never win anything.
Yeah.
And we won't win it with goody two-shoes Gareth Southgate, in my opinion. I just don't think... I just want someone who's just going to be that slime ball.
Yeah.
Basically. I want that. And I think that's in a lot of... I think City have got that in players.
Seen it, the dark
I mean, they're masters at it. You look at Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. Let's be honest. It's nothing fair about how them clubs have run in terms of the La Liga. But the players that they've got, when the chips are down, I would never have put Real Madrid winning that Champions League last season. But
absolutely not.
They know how to win. Bruno Fernandes, I feel, knows how to win and hasn't got enough honours to his name. I don't think he's got. He needs more credit for me, but
I love him. You know, I'm a massive fan of him, and he gets a lot of flack. Mainly, a lot of our fans do give him a bit of stick, but I think he's one of them players that, for me, you love to have for your club. When he plays for a different team, you can't stand him because of how he is, because of what he does. But he wants to win constantly all the time, and I think he's lucky in that he's got a couple of players in with him now that are very similar to that. Casemiro is brilliant at the dark arts. You know, he learned it at Real Madrid. And you see, he does certain things. He wins them little niggly fouls.
Anyone who played alongside Ramos is going to know it well, mate.
Exactly. And I think Martinez is absolutely outstanding at it. I think, you know, for me, Argentinian centre-backs are the best in the world. They know everything.
Oh, mate.
Not only can they play football, but...
Totally agree.
The dogs for me.
Give me an Italian and an Argentinian defender, and I think you're going to win anything. You're not going to concede a goal. I mean, I used to love Ayala. Just played for Valencia.
I used to get linked with him.
Smallest man on the pitch, but you try front him.
Yeah.
He would take on anyone.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. Another super chat in from Paul says, Adam Howie is the opposite to a good old Gary Pallister. Slow, but Gary was a beast and could read the game situation. Gary Pallister was so overrated. Gifts are going again, people. Cheers to Troy. He's gifted a membership, a United Stand membership, to anyone who wants to grab all of that one. Thank you very much, mate. Comments are coming in thick and fast. That poll, I didn't even see it finish. I'm sorry. There it is. There it is. Harry Maguire, priority number 1, 67%. This is according to the live chat today.
Fair play to
around about 4,000 of you. Alex Telles is number 2. He went up. Brandon Williams and Eric Bailly level in 3rd place, the priority list. Honestly, mine would be completely back to front. Harry Maguire will be last on that list because he has actually contributed this season. Whether you like him or not, he is contributing to the team right now. Moving on to midfield, mate. We have to go into this hit list even more. This is going to be a tricky one. Names on this list. We did go over it before. Hopefully I'll get this right now. So, Donny van der Beek, I think, has to be definitely in there. Scott McTominay, Fred. These are only because of what's been reported by the media and local journalists. This is what noises are coming out of Manchester United. This isn't the United Stand. We just report on the facts that they so-called say are facts and put out there in the public eye. There was one more. Who was it now? Producer man's going to tell me in a second who this one was. So, Van der Beek, Wan-Bissaka, no idea. Cheers, mate. And
Iqbal.
I mean, you could probably bring someone like Iqbal.
Sabitzer, was it?
Sabitzer is going back on loan, so you could probably say he's already going. But priority list, I mean, them 3 stand alone anyway.
Yeah.
We haven't got many options in midfield, and this shows you why I think midfield we have to move delicately around. I've said at one point already on another video that we can't afford to sell Scott McTominay simply because of the Sabitzer issue.
Yeah.
Tuchel wants him on a full pre-season. Can we wait all summer at the risk of not getting Sabitzer back?
Yeah.
And I've already let Scott McTominay go, and then needing 2 midfielders when we need 2 strikers? With what we talked about in terms of the ownership and having to prioritise, I don't think Scott McTominay can go, personally myself. But guys, there is your poll. McTominay, Van der Beek, Fred. Comment other. Well, pick another. It's just a YouTube phrase there, sorry. I know who's on my list for player and club priority. Going to come to you on that list, mate. Where are you going?
I think there's reasons why each of them will stay, so like you've said. But I think if I had to pick it's probably going to have to come down to who I would want to go more. Because I think Van der Beek is going to be injured until well into next season. So that probably rules him out, I think, with Van der Beek. And
that's the point, Nick. Will Van der Beek be able to take a medical if he wants to sell him? That's a big thing.
Well, that's it. And, you know...
It's a Phil Jones classic, that.
Getting injured at the right time.
I've just realised that we've not even mentioned Phil Jones.
Well, I think everyone knows he's coming, don't they?
Put him in midfield. You can add Phil Jones as the other, because he has played there alongside Giggsy at one point. True. I know that, but...
That's true. No, yeah, so I think with Van der Beek, it's a case of if he's fit enough to leave the club, and it's sad about Donny. It's one of them that breaks my heart, because we just expected so much for him. Even when the manager that brought him into the Ajax team is here, he still can't get a tune out of him, and it's where he's gone wrong and gone lost. But if he comes back into the team with Bruno as an 8 and he can play a 10, does that change his dynamic and give him more freedom? We'll have to wait and see. Fred, for me, is more... It comes down to, with Fred and McTominay, for me, they're both limited players, just one's less limited, and I think that is Fred. So I would keep Fred. I think he adds a little bit more to his game.
What does Fred add that's got McTominay's not got, in your opinion?
This season, goals, assists, aggression. I think he's a lot more aggressive. I think the energy around the pitch is a lot better.
Match winner Scott McTominay performance. It's a good day to talk about
again, it was just an above-average performance from him. I think is this Fred's one of Fred's highest goal
output
competition? Yeah, in terms, and for a player that's not starting every week and he's coming in and being important, I think he's more vital to the way this team plays than Scott McTominay would be. And I think if it comes to it, I think you'd ask most United fans, I think he would be picked rather than Scott McTominay. So it comes down to someone who I'm not overly keen on anyway. I can't hide that fact. And I think if I got my chance, I would move him on. So I would say Scott McTominay.
I promise you, everybody, just because he's got a Brazilian shirt on, he isn't back in the Brazilians here. It's nothing to do with that. There's no set out agenda
no bias
here.
No bias.
No bias at all. Would you like to know how the boat's going? Just creeping up to 1,000.
Yeah, I could probably guess again who's number one.
Well, you're right with Fred. Fred's got 3% of the vote. Yeah. People are loving old Fred. Pastor Fred this season has been on it in his own way. Yeah, he has been very, very good. But yeah, you're right. Scott McTominay is leading it at 57%, followed by Donny van der Beek at 38% of the vote. I'm fighting Scott McTominay's corner here simply because I don't think we can get rid of him. I don't think we can get rid of Scott McTominay. I'm going to say that now. I think he understands his role at Manchester United, and that's another thing for me. I don't think he's going to be kicking down the managers. I think he's going to be understanding and be that squad player. Whether he's good enough or not for us to move to that next level, that's a debate that everyone can have with every single player, because everyone's got an opinion on certain players. People don't think Bruno's good enough. No. Some people would say I'd give Rashford away, but that's another show and another person on this show.
Can I ask you then, just hypotheticals then?
Go for it.
So Sabitzer goes back to Bayern. We tie Fred down to another contract. Donny's going to stay. We get Hannibal back. He's had a decent season with Birmingham. Performs well in pre-season. McTominay is the only option to go. Would you then get rid of Scott and give Hannibal a chance, given the options we've got in midfield?
Right now, I wouldn't be playing Hannibal ahead of McTominay.
Well, I was saying, obviously not this season, but I'm saying if he's the only option to go of them three that you've put out there, would Scott then come top, given if Hannibal, or would you still get rid of Fred and Donny before him?
My list would be... See, I'm worried about Sabitzer. And if Sabitzer stayed, this changes my whole outlook on everything. Because I think there is a gap that can be filled with Sabitzer right there now, and a cheaper option that gives us that extra bit of money to go and get the forward that we need. That's going to be a big debate in a minute, the forward line, my God. But my priority list would be Donny van der Beek has to go first because of his own career and just I don't think he's going to start for Ten Hag. He's had a chance. He's had a chance to be started, and I just don't think he has done enough. Super chat came in earlier on saying, "Great show, thank you very much for that super chat." We've got another one in now. Some people want to sell the man leading the Golden Glove standings. I was going to bring that up. You know what? Just quickly, completely off topic a little bit there. The super chat sort of stole my thunder there, but. For everyone and all the pundits out there, because I know you do watch the show sometimes, you do make some ludicrous comments. There was one certain pundit that tried to put Virgil van Dijk in the same league as Nemanja Vidic. Seriously. Let's move on past that. But yeah, going on about United's defence, how bad it's been. Yeah, we have conceded. And there's a video from pre-season for me saying I need to find it because it's perfect for what's happened this season, and I can remember it word for word what I said, not bigging myself up at all. But it said, and I said, sorry, that this season we will improve and we will see more of a structure and better football in the Ten Hag, but we are probably going to get smashed every now and then. Yeah. My God, I couldn't be any more on the money.
It's
but that just...
You started, you did it. It's your fault then,
Yeah, it is my fault. I was still not swapped this season though, for the roller coaster that it has been and the enjoyment I've taken from it. But you look at it and you go, what agenda everyone has got and how the world and the media and the sports media world cannot live without Manchester United, because it would just be a boring place. We make every single headline. Even Graham Souness had to concede that we are an institution and we are that big. But going on United's defence when we are top of the clean sheet list and David De Gea is well and truly up there with 13 Golden Glove clean sheets. He's going through it. I mean, totally off topic completely, but good super chat. I just wanted to bring that up because it does need talking about, probably on another show, because we're running out of time and we have to get into the forward line. Now, this is tough.
Yeah.
The forward line being everyone who's played in that front three and possibly the number 10 this season.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, knowing how short we are, there's quite a lot in this one, because I'm going to mention one right now which everyone is going to go, what are you talking about? But think about the situation right now that we're in. Marcus Rashford, he's not signed a contract. He is Mr. Manchester United and top of my list to not even go near. But looking at the situation, he is up there. Martial's another one. Two big Manchester United names. I would go Sancho and Elanga as the other two. Total mix there of where players are at this season and scenarios that they're in their own personal careers. Another membership has been thrown out by Paul. Paul, you're on fire today, mate. Thank you very much. Grab that, anyone, while you can. Mate, this is a tough one.
Yeah. I don't think it is. The names you put in there is tough. I think the answer is quite easy.
For top, yeah.
So I've got Rashford, you don't go near, and I think if there was panic, it'd be in the media right now if he wasn't going to sign a contract.
Ricky's fan club have started with the Rashford one.
Right, Rashford is our most important player this season. Gets the goals.
Marcus, by the way, I'm with you.
Franchise player. He'll be staying. Don't you worry about it. Martial, for me, is really tricky. You know, I've got a great analogy about him. And he reminds me of the girl you're in love with. You've loved her since she was a teenager, but she cheats on you constantly. But you keep going back because you love her so much. That's Martial to me, because I've had enough. No, I don't want him anymore. He's done. He can't stay fit. Whatever. He scores on Saturday. I'm in love again. I'm right back. I'm number one at the fan club. Martial all the way. I want him to stay. I want him to be the Martial that we know he can be. And I'd rather it be here than somewhere else. Sancho is getting there. And we need faith in him. He's a young man, you know, similar age to Anthony. Let's not write him off, because he's going to be a great player for Manchester United. We just have to be patient with him. Elanga, for me, it has to be, because young player, not doing enough when he gets given chances. And I've not seen enough that makes me think he could be a great Manchester United player, I'll be honest with you. A couple of goals last season, you know, probably got him a chant and everything like that, which is, you know, for me, ridiculous. But of those four, young man, go and get some football, go and learn your trade, go and see what you can do outside of the circus that is Manchester United. And we don't lose if he comes back and is a brilliant player again. So, yeah, I would pick Elanga out of those four.
Here's one then for you. Me and Beth talked about this on another show about Elanga the other day. I said Elanga, and the perfect place for Elanga would be somewhere like Brentford.
Yeah.
Under Thomas Frank. Yeah. I just feel like the way that they play, I just feel like he would get game time there. I don't feel like Elanga's been given the chance like a lot of other players have. I mean going out on loan and getting game time.
Of course.
Everyone in what has been going on at Manchester United has struggled. The inconsistencies behind the scene and players dealing with that and managers changing. It's probably not been the right club to be at. This season alone, I think, in the last 10 years has been the most stable it's been in terms of squad and players knowing where they stand. Yeah. And feeling like there is progression there, because we've seen youth players come through. We've seen signings progress. Yep. We've seen players that were playing bad last season actually get better and show their actual worth. So I feel like this season, as a player looking in, you're going, there's a future at United right now. I don't think that's been there for a good 10 years, mate, since Alex Ferguson left. The inconsistencies have killed a lot of players. I feel like Elanga, I think he would prosper from a loan, mate. I really do. I think there is a future for him somewhere. Whether it is at United, I think he will find his place this summer. I really do. I think he'll find his place for his future, I think. Whether it is at United, I think he is way down the pecking order right now, and that's just being realistic. I like Elanga. I think he has got a future in the Premier League, definitely. I mean, Brentford, is there anywhere else you think?
I think that's a great shout, to be honest with you. Brentford's a great club where he'd get game time as well. I think even maybe a Fulham, they play great football. I think he could do well there. But I think anywhere in the Championship, you know, we see what's happening with Ahmad, and I think the progression that he's made, and if he comes back and can learn from everything he's taken from this Sunderland loan and bring it into this pre-season with Manchester United, I think we've got a very special player on our hands, and for me, could do a lot more or even better than what Garnacho's done when he's been in the team. Yeah. I think he's that special. Ooh. That's what Alanga needs. I think he needs that toughening up. You're only going to get that in the Championship, as we know. You know, it's relentless, it's non-stop, and you're not given chance to do anything. So I think the tougher the loan for him, the better he'll become. And say he's still very, very young. And let's hope he can get that loan and that game time and progress his career, because, like you say, anyone that comes from the academy, we want to do well, whether they stay with us or not. So it's only fair Anthony Elanga gets that chance, because there's too many good players ahead of him now for him to really nail down a starting place at Manchester United.
Yeah, people want to know if you're actually Brazilian in the chat as well.
I get that a lot. Just my national team. Yeah, I'm not actually Brazilian though.
David Raya is Spanish.
I get that a lot. Yeah, I get that one.
Martial and Anthony Elanga taking up 90% of the vote, more than 90% of the vote on that one. Marcus Rashford shouldn't even be on the list. We know that, but we have to put that in there simply because of the contract situation. Marcus, please stay. Please. Please don't listen to Ricky. Ricky doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to Marcus Rashford. I can say that. That's another video and an argument to come, probably. Hopefully Marcus Rashford is recovering fast. He's been dropping some cryptic clues recently on social media, whether that's contract, whether that's injury. I don't know which one I want more at the moment, because I want to finish this season strong. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if Marcus Rashford came back anytime this month, I'd be delighted.
I think it was a worry on Saturday, opposite end of the pitch to me, but you could tell when you're walking, the way he was walking and off straight away, I find your heart's in your mouth, because you know how important he's been to the team, regardless of whether he dropped 8 out of 10's performance wide. He's left on the pitch because he could perform them moments. We saw in the Betis game away, that game was heading to 0-0 before he decided just to put his foot through the ball. He can do that. He's added that to his game this season, and with the games we've got coming, he's vital to this team. And the longer he's out, the more we will miss him. And I love him. He's a Manchester lad like me and you, both Mancs. When you get a Manchester lad starring in the team, there's nothing better for a Manchester United.
One thing I loved that what the club did was when they was picking the people to come into the first press conference after the Liverpool nightmare, they picked Marcus Rashford to sit alongside Ten Hag. I thought that was exactly where the club should be going.
Exactly. Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, a Manchester lad, took everything on in that press conference and answered some really tough questions. And I think Marcus Rashford, basically, within the media and everyone else watching that, went up in everyone's estimation. I remember Mark talking about it and how he answered the questions and how mature he was, and that stung, that hurt, you could tell. And I think that was the right move from the club in terms of who represented us on that press conference going forward, because we did react from that and we did get what we wanted out of it. Yeah, we've had the issue at Newcastle. I don't even want to talk about that. That was just hard to take.
Is that just because you're travelling though, mate? Is that what it was?
No, it wasn't the travelling. I've had some bad away days, as everyone knows. It's not been fun being a United fan, especially last season. But I think this season, Ten Hag has turned it around and brought the fans right in with the players. And I do think what the club have been doing off the pitch, in terms of like inviting fans into press conferences and stuff like that, special ones for the Carling Cups. We've had interviews ourselves. I think they're moving the right way, because the divide was too big last season. The club was horrible, and I think getting rid of Ronaldo was a big part of that as well. It's a massive statement. We are Manchester United. No one is bigger than the club, and I think they're moving in the right direction. The ownership that we talked about earlier on in this show, Double A, is going to go a long way, I think, in cementing that. I think that has to be at the forefront, and the way that the possible suitors have been talking, that does look like where it's going to go. The fan involvement has been key in all of these negotiations. Is that massive for you now?
Of
you feel like the club has sort of moved away from like that bad era? Do you feel like we have turned the corner even without the new owners coming in now? I feel like this season has been a definite turnaround.
Yeah, the club's always they've had to bridge that gap, because it did feel like, as we all know, it was them and us, and we were only seen as, cash cows, because they just want the money from us, don't they? That's what it was seen as. But like you say, they've opened the doors a little bit, and we're peeking behind the curtain, and that's very important, because regardless of how big a juggernaut Manchester United is, in the world, it's still the heart, of Manchester really, and the local people, the local fans, and fans all around the world want to be able to be seen to the club to be accessible to them rather than just something you see on TV or on Instagram or on Twitter. And it makes sense that both, Sir Jim and Sheikh Jassim have both said separately that they want to be well ingrained within Manchester and bring that element of Manchester and Mancunia back into the club, because clubs are nothing without the fans, and we've got the best fans in the world, so it's right that we're right there alongside the team in every aspect of what they do.
That's it, exactly. I wanted to talk about the Seville game, but we've run out of time. It's ridiculous. That vote for the forward line was Alenga priority, followed by Martial, Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Bottom of the pile where they should be. I think Ricky's put a few votes in there on Marcus Rashford, but just ignore them. Yeah. We'll ignore them, everyone, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to have to wrap up the show right there because we are just quickly into the hour mark on that. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Your comments, your super chats have been on the money. From the show, we have taken, who we think will be leaving the football club. Your opinions on that. Obviously, there will be more news breaking regarding Manchester United's ownership and where we're at stage-wise. I think Mark will be back probably, if anything does break later on tonight, 8 o'clock to talk over that. 7 o'clock tonight. 7 o'clock tonight, sorry everyone, Mark is on. A little bit earlier. Wants to go out for a drink again, I think. Anyway, Double A, it is the watch-along for Manchester City. Bayern Munich, I think I'm right. So the United stand is going to be on a little bit earlier. But yes, Double A, pleasure having you on for the first time on this show. Absolutely buzzing. Great comments, and you've gone down well with the live chat as well. Loving the retro, mate. I think
I can bring out more. If I get asked, I can bring retro every single time. I'm a big kit lover, so yeah.
That's it. So I think Double A coming on next time. I think it'll be a guest a shirt, and then he'll unveil it on the show. I think we'll do it that way. Yeah. Guys, cheers for watching. Like I said, Mark's on at 7. Then on to That's Football. So do fly across because he will be covering the Bayern Munich and Manchester City Champions League quarter-final game as well. And then we'll be back tomorrow. Press conference, access at Carrington again, the whole Europa League treatments. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. Hopefully we'll hear how Ten Hag is looking ahead to the Seville game, get updates on a couple of injuries. I know Marcus Rashford is going to be top of the list in terms of where we're up to injury-wise. So do stay tuned for that. We'll bring you all of that tomorrow. And then we're into match day, the big one. We'll see you then, everybody. Like, share and subscribe to the United Stand. Cheers for tuning in. Have a good one.